After 3 long years, I jumped at the idea of traveling to India. My first international travel after these years was quite different with all the COVID restrictions and regulations. As we sped up and into the clouds let out an opening for the sun and the snow-capped mountains. It felt as if the mountains were dancing to a rhythm, and I felt Himalaya is a name truly befitting the lands. As my thoughts were racing with the itinerary, we landed at Indira Gandhi International Airport. A short break after the flight, and we were already rushing to our first destination, the Heritage Transport Museum. From the advent of wheels to the modern day contraptions hurling us through the sky, the museum really does make us take a deep thought into how far and how fast we've reached here. Like most cultural places in India, the museum too prohibited videos inside the galleries, and thus we had to make do with the gardens. The stages of evolution such as wheels, boats, palanquins, carts, trains, cycles, cars, buses, bikes, tempos, motorbikes, and many more were vividly depicted across different mediums like paintings, life-size replicas, scaled models, and audio clips. The city was welcoming the festivities with lights draped across hedges, trees, and buildings. The music, the decors, and the lights shimmering through the shops, malls, and cafes of Gurgaon lit up our hearts. And we rode back on a rickshaw, hoping to catch every glimpse the city had to offer. Early morning, we rushed to Delhi. We started off our journey with the Bahai Temple, also known as the Lakshmi Narayan Temple. Finding a locker was an adventure in itself. Thus, my advice to you all is to travel light. Delhi is a place brimming with people and can get overwhelming for someone not used to sheer number of people. But little things, such as this kid swinging in the swing made of tire, vendors offering bestsellers during traffic congestion, bring in moments of choice. Now heading on to the historical Delhi, we start with an icon of power, the Lal Killa, literally translating to Red Fort. The red sandstone fortress built by the Mughals to keep out enemies now keeps out the chaos of Delhi. Heading through the Lahore gate, we reach Chhatta Chowk, a bazaar selling trinkets to tourists. The market then led us to a huge fort compound. We visited the drum house and halls and left for Rajghat. Maneuvering through the infamous Delhi traffic and passing along the under construction India Gate, we reached Rajghat. Surrounded by bougainvillea, lush green lawns, hedges and trees, Rajghat is a memorial dedicated to Mahatma Gandhi. Left open to the sky, an eternal flame burns in the center of the black marble platform that marks the spot of Mahatma Gandhi's cremation. Heading further, we passed the Indian Parliamentary Building and reached the Indira Gandhi Museum, which once was a residence. The bungalow beautifully presents the twists and turns, the challenges that ensued in her life, and the choices she made that led her to be assassinated by her very own personal guard. The books and biographies attempt to merely scratch the surface of the emotions that the museum evokes. Through the vast collections of photographs, letters and speeches narrating her life from her cradle to her grave, the galleries try and portray her as every bit human as us, but a woman of superhuman power, strength and fortitude when the situation demanded. It feels like the space and time has frozen around this place. The glimpses of her prized possessions, her belongings, her library, her bedroom, her puja room that housed gods of every faith, her kitchen helps relate her to the viewers and thus build a personal connection to her. Not defending, not arguing, but accepting the circumstances under which she made some of the most difficult decisions in her life. The presence of the sari and the bloodstains from her very last moments in the exact same path she took. The flailing steps she made with every last bit of her strength are marked in crystals and can be sensed getting weaker and weaker, flailing and finally dropping to her final resting place, now encased in glass. The note found in her hand during last moments shows how she was aware of her imminent death, aware of how her choice of actions would play out as a consequence for her. Truly an intensely moving personal journey through her life. Taking a break from the emotional journey, we headed to Qutub Complex. The pleasant weather there made the sightseeing and the history lessons a double feat, where I learned that the Qutub Minar is a victory tower built by Qutb ud-Din Aibak in 1193 after the defeat of Delhi's last Hindu kingdom. The Minar has been enlisted in the World Heritage List. It has 5 distinct stories where the first three are made of red sandstone, the fourth and fifth of marble and sandstone. At its foot is the Quwwat-ul-Islam Mosque, the first mosque to be built in India using materials obtained from demolishing 27 Hindu temples. After these extensive lessons on history, we headed to our next destination for a break. We headed to the Lotus Temple to calm our minds. This temple, built in the shape of a lotus flower, is the last of the 7 major Bahai temples around the world. The white marble cladding adds charm to the vast open structure, similar to its values, welcoming adherents of all faiths to visit, pray, and meditate. Truly a place of calmness and tranquility. With plans to head to Agra the next day, we rushed to Swaminarayan Akshardham temple, rushing past Humayun's tomb. The temple complex epitomizes 10,000 years of Indian culture in all its breathtaking grandeur, beauty, wisdom, and bliss. It brilliantly depicts the essence of Indian subcontinent and its ancient architecture, traditions, and timeless spiritual messages. A truly special experience with the extensive light and water show during the evenings. With the restrictions for belongings inside the main complex premises, I was unable to capture anything in my camera, and perhaps for the better too. I wasn't focused on anything but being in the moment, living through the experience the space had to offer. Definitely a must for anyone visiting Delhi in the evenings.